I invite everyone to take a nice deep breath, please. All right. Well, welcome to this majestic, sovereign space. I'm extremely excited to be here with you during this time because this is a season where the struggle really is over. You are in the season of shifting from struggle into what I call sovereign stewardship. If you haven't already, very soon you should be receiving a full-on harvest in a Ephesians 3:20 way. More than you can ask, think, or imagine. This is beyond what you have even, quote unquote, worked for or prepared for. This is more than just double portions. This is triple for your trials and then some. Vineyards that you didn't plant. And this is where the stewardship comes in, because over time, you have been being trained and developed to be able to handle the level of what you are going to have to steward. And so during your seasons of what was appearing to be, seeming to be struggle, because that's how the flesh sometimes interprets hardship. But it was an extraction, and that's something I've spoken about in other segments, is that diamonds demand pressure. You were being extracted. This new encoding within you, your greater potential, so to speak, was being unearthed. And that's why so much of what you had been challenged with, especially around opportunities and finances, where you couldn't live the life at the quality in which you know you were destined to live. But this was setting you up for this significant shift into this higher way of being. And this is why it's been critical to be in your sovereign one's essence versus just, again, the chosen one's essence. Because the chosen one's template has the struggling within it. It has the suffering in it, where you're actually suffering a lot longer than you have to because of not really being aware of what the next level would be in terms of why you were chosen. You get to live this out now. The season has changed. The season has shifted, which is one of the reasons why the timeliness for the majestic sovereign ones to come forth this series is because so many of you have been more than ready, beyond preparation, to the point where when certain things were coming in your space, or you were hearing different teachings from chosen one influencers about being prepared, but still yet one more thing to do, something else to do, final things to do. No, the only finality has been to shift into the sovereignty, to now be able to play out, if you will, what all you've been prepared for and so much more. So now you don't have to continuously loop in lack. And when I'm speaking about lack, I'm not just talking about in terms of finances and resources, even just lack of awareness, lack of clarity, lack of peace of mind, where even though the Lord is your shepherd, you shall not want. and grace abound, where at all times having all that you need. But you certainly felt the intensity of not having the tangibility for certain things, which again equated to a mindset and a beingness of struggling, of suffering, even though it's been part of the development, as I mentioned, to unearth, to extract your unique encoding of potential. You're going to see in this new season that the giftings that are coming forth or will be coming forth from you to continuously make room for more revenue and more resources, it will help you to understand why you actually had to experience the level of intensity, that it was preparation, it wasn't punishment. Pruning is not punishment. The vines have to be pruned back during seasons in order for you to bear more fruit. All right? And you get that. You understand that. But now it's time to see exactly what this preparation has been about. And again, you've learned to be faithful with a little. And now it's time for you in your sovereignty to be the stewardship, the steward, I should say, of this next level and demonstrate sovereign stewardship. You're going to be amazed because it's not so much of what you can consciously think of in terms of, oh, I was developed for this, prepared for this. No, you get to see this in a completely different sovereign spectrum. It's going to be multidimensionalized in terms of how your giftings play out, how your purposes play out. And that's why you actually have to be in your sovereignty in order to steward what it is that you are going to be governing. And yes, I did say governing, because in your majestic, sovereign way of being, thy kingdom come comes through you in this majestic way where it is setting up kingdoms, empires, so to speak, that are going to evolve and catapult the next level of humanity's evolution in divinity and being aligned with the second coming templates, right? This is a whole new level. Being able to have finances and resources beyond your imagination. And this is holistically because you use the resourcefulness of life in general. There's riches within your life that you have to be awake and pay attention to, the currency of life. And when you become a good steward of your life, especially your time currency, then much more will expand to you. You will be given more to be entrusted in terms of your stewardship. And then those that you are here to impact, those that you are here to influence and actually fund their dreams and awaken their own sovereignty of success in resourcefulness in so many ways. This is what you're here for. You're here for so much more than what you actually think you've been prepared for. Most of you don't even understand what you've been being prepared for. You just know there is something signature to having gone through the chosen one's journey. But again, now it's time to be in this season, this new season, because you're already here. And the shifting only comes in the renewance of the mind. And then when the mind is renewed, the beingness will play that out. It will follow. That's why we can only be transformed, as Romans 12:2 says, but by the renewing of your mind. So when your mind is renewed in this sovereign way, the struggle dissipates and you reinterpret the experience. Again, it's understanding that that was just the extraction. Extraction is not a pleasant experience. I often say that diamonds don't get tickled out of coal, out of the earth. No, it's extracted. The pressure is put on that coal in order for that diamond to come forth. Your diamonds have come forth, but now it's time to take your experience. And this is a teaching that I do in the entrepreneurial world with taking your brand from presentable to polished. You are taking your life, your experience. God is taking it. And now that you've been extracted, he's starting to polish the diamond so that it can be on display. So this is what this phase of your journey is now polishing and preparing. Because actually your diamond's already been being cut because you've been extracted and you've been feeling the refinement of the journey, the now cutting it. And now there's the polishing this, getting it ready. Because what you are entering into, what's coming through you, what's coming, yes, through you. We always think something's coming to us, but it's actually coming through us. It's just the alignment with that trajectory of our well-beingness, of our destiny, of our purpose, so to speak. And so you're already here. There's a teaching that I provide that's called destination. And destination is the journey and destination is one. Because, there's the school of thought that we should focus more on the journey rather than the destination. And though that is true to a certain extent, there's some entrapment in there because sometimes if you are focused more on the journey, you can actually be stuck more in journey mode when it's actually time to shift. And this is why desjournation is very powerful in terms of it is the embodiment, because there's times where you have to allow yourself to arrive so that a new level of the journey can begin. So you think about it, when you were younger and you were preparing to go to college, you had to graduate, you had to come out of high school so that you can enter into college, at least in the traditional way. And then once you were in college, if you were preparing for graduate school or so, you had to arrive. There's certain points you have to have an arrival point so that the next level of the journey can begin. One journey gives birth to another journey, to another journey. But when you realize that most of it is always here and present, because there are certain markers, certain, milestones, landmarks, if you will, that you have to allow yourself to be there. And so for you during this time, that's why you have to come out of preparation and already be in the season and shift your mind from struggle is over. Because I'm in my sovereignty and I don't want to look at it anymore as I struggled my way to sovereignty. No, I was extracted. My sovereign encoding was being extracted so I can be exactly who I'm supposed to be in this royal priesthood and to be able to be not only part of the wealth transfer of receivership, but actually a distributor of wealth holistically. So again, being in the sovereignty seat of beingness, now there is the embodiment in terms of you being the steward. And praying for wisdom, yes, continuously, just as Solomon did, how to govern all of what you're being entrusted with, all of what you've been prepared to facilitate. So just know this is the season that you're in. I know that you've probably heard a lot of different teachings, a lot of different renderings about you're almost there, and this is the season you're stepping into, breakthroughs, all of these different things. But again, what's been keeping the pending going is not shifting into the sovereignty, not understanding the graduation of chosen one has already taken place. That's why lessons don't make sense to you anymore. It's like, what is this? I'm beyond this. Why am I still being given a test when I'm already beyond this? If anything, it would be that it's a test in the next level in season. But when you move into the sovereign space, testing, that goes away. There's no more initiation. There is, yes, still things that can challenge you to expand you, but they don't come in the way of lesson format. It's actually partnership in you inviting the experience, much like someone who decides, I want to work out, or I'm going to embark on a triathlon, so I need to prepare for this. And they put themselves through the process of preparation and development. It is intentional. It is an invitation, in a sense, to say, I'm challenging myself for this next level, not, okay, in order for me to graduate to this, in order for me to get this breakthrough, I need to pass this test. See, Paul said, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I'm a man now, right? And yes, you will forever be increasing in this awareness, because Paul also said, not that I have obtained it, but I continuously press forth for the prize. But again, at this level, it's different. It's intentional, sovereignty, and understanding the power and authority that you have, and starting to leverage that, leverage the divine, be God in motion. There's so many different levels of your potential that are going to be required to come forth. So I'm proud of you for stewarding your gifts and in making it to this point, and now just shifting where it can come to you in terms of all that you've been preparing for. And again, and so much more. Ephesians 3:20 on steroids. And I'm going to leave it there. As always, check the description for helpful resources. And I'm wishing you the absolute best, and very much looking forward to being back with you soon. Take care and stay blessed.